Elusive Samurai. Hello, before David even gets on his shit, all right? I'm a big Assassination Classroom fan. And, the author of that series made this one. And I was excited. I saw a femboy. I was, like, locked and loaded. Because this author, clearly, he's a femboy connoisseur,
That he is.
That he is, exactly. And as you can see on the screen above David's blue spiked hair, that is one cute femboy. So on that department, A+. He did a good job. But everything else, and I'm not going to, I'm just going to, my opening statement on this before David gets to fucking his shit here is that, like, I am going to be a little humble on this and think that the reason it doesn't interest me, because I've never liked feudal Japan or, like, medieval or era, like I'm not big on historicals. Never have been. And so that was already kind of like a check mark for me. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like the setting. But then I'm also hearing that it's, like, based off of, like, a real historical thing, like, that happened, actually, and that's also boring to me because I'm a fiction slut. Like, fuck nonfiction. Get out of here. Documentaries? No. Out of here. So my take on this is it'd be like if Japan did an anime on, like, George Washington, and, like, if all the founding fathers were, like, anime gods, and, like, people in Japan would be like, what the fuck is this? This is boring. Because this is, like, a cultural thing that we're not getting. That's my take.
My dude,
on why
Hitalia exists.
Go ahead.
I said my dude, Hitalia exists.
True, but that's every country. The point I'm making here is that this is very specific to what a single country's, like, culture.
I get you. And like, I do agree with you on some of that. I'll let you finish your point, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's mainly my point, is that, like, I read the first 10 or 11 chapters, and I don't like it. It's fine. The characters have good moments, I think the humor is there. It's definitely good, but, like, what I really liked about Ass Class is it had a phenomenal idea, and it really drew me into that. And then, like, from there, it made me love the characters, and I can see little remnants of that writing in this. I like the characters, I really do. And I chapter 1, I was so digging it. I loved the concept of, in samurai culture, you run away, that's, like, dishonorable. You fucking commit seppuku, right? But, like, he's gonna take the thing that's, like, the biggest weakness of him, the biggest dishonor in his society, and make it his strength. I think that's a really cool first concept. And that moment in chapter 1 where the priest fucking yeets him down the cliff just to prove that point, like, hey, look, I just threw you to, like, inevitable demise and you were able to get out of it. That's your strength. That was cool. That was a cool hook. But, like, I just can't get into it. The setting bores me. Most of the characters, like the side characters and the villains are going against, are, like, fine but boring me. And that also does carry over too, because that was never Ass Class's strong suit. Like, I think back to the crazy, was it Takaoka, the psychopath, like, guy that came in to be their gym teacher, and then it was, like, a military guy. That's something this author clearly loves doing, is these, like, psycho fucking bulgy eye, like, crazy fucks. But yeah, I can sense certain things from this author that I liked from Ass Class, but it's just not, for me, the magic formula that Ass Class had. I wish he did something modern day. We're going to do another video on Sakamoto Days, and I wish, like, Sakamoto Days feels like what I wanted this to be. Where, like, that's the kind of shit that I think he's good at. We're,
like, basically filming those back to back.
Historicals just don't feel right, at least for his style, for me. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, like I was saying, we're filming those back to back here. I've been teasing, like, a mass filming. We already have one in the bucket from a couple days ago, and the
bucket.
Okay, bucket.
I thought you'd appreciate that one.
I did. I'm just trying to get my word diarrhea out. But, like, we've been trying to brainstorm on ways during Golden Week to just kind of fill the void of chapters and bringing new stuff to the channel slowly but surely. And then we've been having, like, brainstorm sessions in group chat and yada yada yada. But, like, Red, you do like some historical series, just they can't be steeped entirely on historical.
Help me figure. I'd be curious. What historical
Hellsing
series
has, like, the historical London setting. You have a little bit of that feudal Japan and Bleach, but that wasn't your strongest suit in that you've mentioned, because, like, even for Wano, like, that being your, like, I've had enough of that over the years.
Like the feudal Japan. A lot of the first anime that I watched was very like heavy in that feudal Japan like design shit, and to the point where I thought that was just what anime was. Like all anime had that like aesthetic. Yeah.
But like Hellsing being the big one for you, and then you had the big one for me being Berserk, something I kind of
see. That's another good example of me not liking this kind of shit. Like I read the first like 3 or 4 chapters of Berserk, and I'm told it's amazing, but like I'm just so like I see a guy riding a horse, and I'm like almost immediately bored. It's weird. It's a weird fucking like pre-existing like bias that I have. But like I see dudes riding horses in medieval shit, and I'm immediately bored. Couldn't get into Game of Thrones for the same reason.
Yeah, I have a nice little attachment to Vagabond, Blade of the Immortal, Ninja Scroll. So I'm like, okay, I can vibe with this. And if you follow our Discord or my personal Twitter, like I do not vibe with this. This is not past that vibe check.
Do not vibe.
This series, like, it has one nice moment in every chapter that keeps fucking dragging me along by the dick. But everything else in every chapter to me is just like, okay, this is like the first 3. The second they introduce the like horse dude that's fucking yeeting dogs with arrows, like I don't like anything that's going on right now. Same thing I've been having a lot lately. If you haven't noticed, like Spy X Family hasn't been present. Is like I have a pre-existing hatred towards Yuri because he reminds me of somebody in my past. So anytime Yuri is really super heavily focused in there, like I don't like it. So like there are like little biases that are in all of our heads, and that's something that I 100% agree with you, Red, is like not really vibing with feudal Japan, not liking like medieval stuff. But like with me growing up with a lot of like one of my first animes I watched, which by today's standard I should have never fucking watched when I was young, was Ninja Scroll. I found that in my uncle's like VHS bin. I'm like, oh, this is colorful and cartoony. I had no idea what fucking anime was. And then I like obviously went through like the starter packs of here's fucking Dragon Ball, Sailor Moon, Digimon, yada yada yada. But that was one of the first things I watched, and that's what set me on this path of liking swords and ninjas and fucking samurais and stuff like that.
Yeah, see, I've always liked the aesthetic of samurai and ninjas and shit, but not like the setting. Like what I look for setting wise when it comes to my fiction is either modern day, because I find that more easy to relate to, modern day, or completely fantasy world. And by that I don't mean like, because again, Game of Thrones is a completely fantasy world, but it's just kind of like castles and medieval horses and dragons and lances. Nah, fuck that shit. I like One Piece is a perfect example. That's like got wacky ass like unique ass islands. Made in Abyss is a perfect example of shit that I fucking love. Hunter x Hunter, of course. I'm trying to think. JoJo does a really good job of like sometimes being set in historical, but much like Hellsing, it isn't like that's not the hardcore focus of it. Like it's there, but like there's other shit happening that's overshadowing.
Yeah, with Hellsing you have like the Catholic Church, and then you also have vampires.
Yeah, and I feel like with Elusive Samurai, I feel like it can't decide if it wants to be like a documentary or like a fun manga. It's very you know what I mean? Like it's strange.
It's got that identity crisis that I'm seeing a lot in Modern Jump. Like you have moments of, and this is like, obviously Japan loves it. Like it's selling super well over there because they have more of an attachment.
What's leading me to believe that it's a cultural thing, because like I don't think we've seen with Kishimoto that you cannot survive just off of clout. You know what I mean? Samurai 8 fucking bombed, and so there's no way this is like a clout survive thing, because Ass Class hasn't been running since 2016.
Exactly. And Naruto hadn't been running for a while either.
Naruto was more recent. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. When did Naruto actually? It might have been around the same time. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's. 1 second. I'll pull that up. But like it's definitely more of like you can either succeed or mega fail in a reboot or a re-emergence here. You saw it with Bill King and Toriko's author. You see it more now in this current climate of Jump. Like you can either super succeed or super fail, and it's an interesting place we're in right now. And it was 2014 Naruto ended.
Oh my god, what, dude, I remember that shit like it was yesterday. That's
crazy. Fucking anime didn't end until around the same time.
That's what it fucking was. The anime decided to do filler for like 2 years.
Yeah, that's why you were like, I think it was later. No, it was just a fucking anime.
Yeah, well, so like, how to put this? How to put this? Either way, like, I don't think this is just like the clout from Ass Class because like, no one's a bigger Ass Class fan than me. Like, I immediately fell in love with that shit, and I could only stand like 10 chapters of this. And it's weird.
And also, Red, like, S Class didn't get to the same level as, say, a Naruto either. It was one of those more like middle of the.
No, S Class actually was immensely successful, even beating One Piece in the rankings occasionally.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
I'll take that out there. I don't remember it being as super popular as like Naruto or like in the mainstream.
I'd have to look up the sales. I just remember the only reason I even knew about Ass Class. Hold on, someone just tried to call me, but I'll ignore that for now. Sorry. Anyway, I don't get calls often. Yeah, no, I remember the reason I knew about Ass Class and the reason I decided to check it out eventually was that back in the day when I was like reading Bleach weekly and Naruto weekly, I would see this. I was like, "What the fuck is this Ass Class thing?" Because like I used to be like Thurman, like obsessively checking the rankings, and yeah, like it was beating One Piece for a long. Like when it first came out, it was fucking huge.
Yeah, and like, I mean, somebody can be like, "Yeah, actually, it was like the top ranked series of this year," and it was sold this many.
Assassination Classroom sales. You keep going. Sorry, go ahead.
But like, I don't remember it being super that big, but that was at the same time I was binging Bleach and Naruto, and my brain was like, I want to hyperfixate on these things nowadays. Like, if you've been paying attention to like the Control Chaos Twitter and everything, like we're prepping for a big video around Comic-Con time where we're going to sit down and rank like our personal top 10 manga of all time. So I've been like, because I'm
in 2013 it was the 7th best selling manga series in the entirety of Japan.
Well, there you go. I'll take that L. But like we've been prepping
That's
for
from
like
Wikipedia.
the top 10, our personal top 10 manga of all time. So I've been like, and having the blessing, I guess, of working from home. It's kind of weird right now.
Are you working
just being
from home?
able to? Yeah, I literally
I forgot you told me about this. Yeah.
Yeah, until they open the new building, like I get to do remote work,
nice.
Which is I can sit and read fucking 10 volumes of manga a day and prep for a massive video like that.
I envy your guys' brains.
But I'm just sitting there binging for this massive video. So now I have the ability to be like, okay, I got this running here. I'm hyper fucking taking notes on where I would rank this point wise.
Yeah, I appreciate how hard you're going into that. I'm gonna have to do that soon too. I love me some rankings. I love me some lists. But either way, did you have any more thoughts on this series at all? This is probably gonna be mostly a short video. I just wanted to discuss how my disappointment on this because I did a whole like reaction thread of the first chapter because I was excited.
Yeah, I have a ranking that I started doing because everybody else in our Discord was doing it. And now that I'm caught up with most series on the magazine, I'm not caught up with One Piece because I'm just going to wait till that fucking ends at this point.
Yeah, but you better fucking finish it when it ends. Honestly, at this point, I know it's going to be a fucking endeavor. Just start One Piece from the beginning.
Exactly.
And, like that whole series. Because if you fucking start halfway through after for like 5 years of not reading it, it's not going to hit as hard.
That's why I'm just going to wait till it's done. I'm just going to reread
That's
it all.
That's going to be one hell of a read, dude. Like, you set aside like a half a year of your life to fucking do that.
I know you have every fucking volume.
I'm going to have every fucking volume at some point. I don't yet. That series is so big, I still have occasional holes here and there in my collection.
Yeah, but by then you'll have every
for sure.
volume. I can just sit down and read like 5 volumes a day because that's how I do not care, Google Chrome Assistant.
Yeah, my plan is to I'm gonna have a moment where like a fucking like elderly man, I'm gonna sit on my porch with a rocking chair and just read like 5 volumes a day. Like you said, like when it ends, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, I mean, and that would be nice because unlike you and Thurman, I hadn't been reading it from like the beginning, so
the foreshadowing, you're gonna fucking blow 17 loads like when you read that shit. The foreshadowing, like he foreshadows shit in volume like 5 that happens in volume 50. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I was reading it when you guys started it, and I'm just like, I have other things I want to do with my life.
For sure, that's a commitment for sure.
Yeah. But anyway, like you having this massive attachment to the series, just it being like so disappointing. And to me, I wasn't the biggest Ass Class fan, but I read it when it first was ending because I'm like, oh, it's ended. I'll read it now. And I had watched
back in 2016.
Yeah, like right in that anime ending and manga
Fun
ending.
fact, because I remember this very well. Remember when I was at Taco Bell and I was posting about how Valentine's Day and I don't have a date, lol, incel, whoop. Remember
Oh
that?
God.
And then underneath that, you were like, holy fuck, go watch volume 3 of Ruby right now. Penny died, even though you didn't tell me that, obviously, but you were, because that shit happened, remember?
Oh God, yeah.
That was
You
the
were
same
reading
week
the.
as Class's manga ended.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that in another video. I think that was one of our like first fucking podcasts. You were telling
Yeah,
me
that
about
shit
that.
blew my mind when I looked into it. I was like, so if I was an Ass Class fan back then and watching Ruby, that would have been a painful week.
That was like, oh, Koro Sensei is.
Koro Sensei's dead. Penny's dead. Pyrrha's
Two of your
dead.
favorite characters. And well, three of your favorite characters because you like Pyrrha too.
I loved Pyrrha, man.
Oh,
that was a waifu among waifus.
You had a rough week that week.
Yeah. Well, again, I didn't get into Ass Class until 2019. Yeah, it was late 2019.
Oh yeah, because you were reading that when you were buying the volumes at con. You sold your fucking Death Note because you have the all of one like me. We sold your massive box set to that fucking reseller at Comic Con the last time we had an in-person con.
That was a good ass deal too.
Like he's like, I'll take this and give you all of my Ass Class volumes.
That was crazy because like it's crazy because that feels so recent because that was the last con, but that was forever ago.
That was 2 years ago.
And I'm gonna be so much sexy. Like this new con this year is gonna be my first official sexy con where I'm sexy as fuck and I'm gonna fucking dress like it.
I'm going as the slutty spider demon, and I'm just like massively. I bought a dancer's belt, so like my junk's not showing because I tried on the fucking addict version of Angel Dust.
I'll ask Allie's permission, and then like when I'm Alice, skinny sexy Alistair, and you're fucking skinny sexy fucking Angel Dust, we'll get a picture of us like about to make out. Maybe we'll tongue a little. It'll be great. Just kidding.
Are you though? Because I'm down.
I am kidding. But like I feel like much like Thurman, if you got me like drunk enough, I probably would.
Passes you the fireball. Here you go. Don't do this, kids.
Dude,
this
Alistair Angel Dust gay sex would be fucking fire.
I feel like my gremlin would be there fucking videotaping it. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, we'll get. Well, my gremlin is short enough to fucking be nifty, so.
Jesus.
This little darling is nifty.
Oh,
and you know how nifty is in Hazbin Hotel. She would be recording it. She's a fucking little hyper fuck.
Mine would be Vaggie, the fucking evil.
Oh my god, yes. This is a great night we've just planned.
No, she's over there plotting your murder, but also secretly into it.
Oh, I bet both of them would be into it.
Oh,
what a fun night. Wow. Anyway, point being, why did we bring that up again? What were we talking about?
We were talking about like fucking where you bought the bunch of the Ass Class volumes.
Oh yes. Anyway, so SexyCon. Yes. So Ass Class though, just as a quick little thing. What Ass Class was able, because you were talking about, you liked it, but Warren's into it as me. What I like, that series really encapsulated more than any other fictional series for me the feeling of like being in school again. Like it returned me to childhood. It gave me like honestly a lot of tears because it did that for me. It reminded me like how little I know about life because Kuro Sensei felt like this larger than life figure that was able to give so much good life. Like there's genuinely good life advice that Kuro Sensei gives throughout that series. And then with Nagisa, like I really vibed with him harder than I thought I was going to because like Nagisa has this whole fucking like gender body dysmorphia thing that's like not like said that overtly, but you can kind of like read into it. And I have that like a little bit, like not hardcore, but like I've there's a lot of times where I'm like, fuck, I really do hate being like a big guy because a lot of times I want to do more like feminine cutesy shit and it just doesn't work for me. And then of course my dad is always like, because what Nagisa has with his mom is like what I have with my dad, but totally reverse. Like Nagisa's mom's like, man, I wish you were more feminine and girly, and my dad's like, man, I wish you were more masculine and not such a little bitch. And so I vibed hard.
Be like that.
I know, fuck him. So I really vibe with Nagisa. So just Nagisa I fell in love with, Kuro I fell in love with, the whole fucking concept I fell in love with. It was honestly, some of the hardest I've ever cried at any series. So it takes a talented author to do that shit. So I really came into this with high hopes. I'm sure they'll have good moments. Like I said, I don't think it's written badly. I think it has good characters. I think it has good moments. There's been moments where I'm like, ooh, that's a good moment there. But it's what it's about. And this is a classic example of it's not the writing, it's the subject matter for me.
Mm-hmm. I feel like what it can make you feel about the characters. That's something that I think we can both agree on. Like, whether you hate or love X character can make you feel about them. And that's a powerful writing tool. But if I can't be arsed to care about like 90% of the cast because this character's creepy, this one over here is like...
Well, he does the creepy shit quite a bit.
Yeah.
That's always been one of his things.
Absolutely. But I still cared more about the creepy characters in Ass Class than this. And I think it is 100% paired with the setting. Like, you're creepy and a priest. That's like already here in
there was a sus chapter where he was like trying to like low. I'm gonna say extra low key, not like low key molest the main character. You remember what I'm talking about?
Okay, that has different implications over there than here culturally.
I was just confused as to what was happening there because he was like, "Oh, he's so cute. If I could just get like a little smoochy smooch or whatever, like as he's asleep." And I'm like, over here like happening right
now. No, just no. Hard pause.
Yeah, I don't fucking know what was going on there. That was a little sus. But yeah, I don't know.
The thief character that was introduced in the last couple chapters, I like more than most of the characters, other than the MC. So that's
the one with the mask.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I like them more than 99% of it.
There were some jokes with the priest that I liked about like him being able to like tell the future and like he just references like modern day shit. That was pretty funny.
Yeah. I'm just like, okay, that's nice character writing.
Like in the dog shooting thing, he's like, in the future, people are really angry about this. This is considered abuse.
Yeah,
that was funny. So yeah, like I said, good moments, subject matter bad. That's just me. I think in Japan, if you're like a history nerd, you're probably like, ooh, this is a really interesting take on the classic story of blah, 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 with a funny little twist. But for us, it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, 100%. And it's just like, Bleach didn't do as well overseas as it did here. It's the complete opposite effect for the series.
That's the vibe
I can see this selling immensely well in Japan and not doing well here in America and elsewhere because it's just how it is.
Yeah, part of me wishes like this guy. I gotta remember his name. It's like Yusue. I don't even know how to pronounce his name. I could like see it with the letters in my head because I've read it enough on the volumes. But I wish that he would like try his hand at like a legit like shonen, like a classic like battle shonen, because I think he could do some cool shit with that.
Yeah, I mean, definitely the author has that feel for a battle down 100%. Like, you can see the tactics being displayed and everything that was going into, like, fighting Koro Sensei. You can see tactics being placed and, like, the dog horseback.
Fights were very rare in Ass Class, but when they happened, they were pretty good.
The author clearly has the feel for combat itself.
Yeah, and then mix that with the emotions he can make me feel with the characters. I would really enjoy that. And the inevitable, this is 2 for 2 now. When he writes shit, a femboy is the main character. So that's already a plus.
Exactly. And with that, peace.
Oh my god, that was peace?
Yeah.
Says you, bitch. Anyway, final thoughts for me. That you threw me the fuck off there. That came out of nowhere. I don't even remember what I was going to say. You pieced so hard. I think we might see like... Because this series is clearly doing well, so I don't see it going anywhere. So it's probably going to last a couple years. So I have a feeling that we won't, we might see a third series from him in his lifetime, like 10 years, 5 years down the line or whatever. And I hope that it's something more down my alley. Because I'd love to recapture the magic of Ass Class. Because Ass Class, I feel like he probably feels how like Toby Fox feels. Like you make Undertale and everyone fucking universally loves it, and you're like, fuck, how do I even possibly follow that? You know what I mean?
You promised Deltarune Chapter 2 for 3 years and never deliver.
Well, I imagine, that's fair enough. To be fair, though, he has given, like, updates. And, one, the COVID. I feel the need to defend him. COVID did slow it down a lot, and
at least he didn't do a Togashi. Togashi can't get the COVID excuse.
Yeah. Well, the thing with Toby, you got me off track here. I'm pretty sure that's still coming. Because like what the weird thing he wants to do is he doesn't. I don't understand why he wants to release them like chapter wise. Because he wants to do chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5, but he wants to release them all at once instead of like as they come out.
Well, I mean, to be fair in his defense here, the Telltale method has kind of died out.
I guess, but then why make it like a chapter thing? Why not just make it one big game?
Because that's how he'd originally planned it, and then it's like. I agree with you 100%, but that's how he originally planned it. And then I think once he saw that method of releasing games was slowly dying off. I mean, even fucking the latest Life is Strange is dropping that method. Twin Mirror dropped that method. Tell Me Why.
Tell me why.
Oh god. Every time.
Nothing but a heartache.
But like, Tell Me Why was the last .NET published game that did that. And even it was like. Yeah, we're not going to follow this methodology anymore because it clearly doesn't do well because they see a drop off, and this was something that even Telltale was seeing near the end of their. I guess they're back in some capacity, but like they were seeing it in like a drop off per chapter.
Gotcha.
Like, I think it was.
But yeah, so my hope is to see that because that's what he said in his interview when his like little like he did like a tweet longer thoughts when Deltarune came out in Halloween of 2018 or 17, whatever the fuck that was.
I was living with you when it came out.
Yeah. But what he said was exactly that, and I totally vibe with him on this. Like he was like, "Fuck, like how do I even make anything after Undertale? Like fuck it, retire forever. Like pull a fucking notch without the racism."
I mean, you're not wrong.
So yeah, I hope to see that happen. I hope to see him come back because this is not going to be ain't it, Chief, for me. And I hope to see something else in the future from him. Final thoughts from you, David. Final
thoughts for me. Like I'm 100% vibing with what you're saying there. Like I want to see something more up my alley because setting wise, I'm down for it. Some of the characters I'm down for it, but like meshing the two, it just doesn't vibe. And like, I don't know if it's the author's inability to, from our like perspective here in America, understand or give a shit about this particular period in Japan that it is trying to tell the story of, or if it's just the writing style, if it's a mix of the both. But like this is, like I was saying earlier, like in my like rankings in the Discord server, this is like it. And when I was unfortunately like still reading Undead Unluck, like I caught up with that. I talked a bit about this in the Black Clover video. Like those two are usually like my bottom two chapters every week. I know Undead Unluck is this fucking wonderfully loved series by 99% of the population.
Do you think it came back? I know you caught up completely, and people are telling me it's getting good again. What do you think?
I could not give two shits.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check myself because like I'm wondering because like really I remember I really did like it, so I'll have to see.
I think you'll absolutely adore it. Like everything.
What's
from
your issue with it? Like real quick, side tangent. What's your main issue with it?
Fuck, you're gonna edit the video anyway, but like mostly like everything past Anno and how they handled the super meta arc is where it fell off for me because you can only do metas so many different ways and make it matter. And to me, like the meta playthrough here with like Anno and the one weapon and all that, it just like it completely derailed everything that was going on.
Because I took a break from it when it did that weird fucking like plot twist. I'm bad way too early. Mm-hmm. That was my issue, but then I never read any more past that. So yeah, I don't even know what you're talking about with the meta shit. I haven't even gotten there. Yeah,
basically there's a chapter where it's been memed to hell and back, like every time a fucking series is axed by Shueisha. Like we raid Shueisha. It's just a mess to me.
I mean, Sakamoto did the same thing. It was like the dudes fucking riding a bus into Shueisha because their favorite manga got canceled.
That was the one that they were referencing. But originally, like, there's a manga that was a plot device in Undead Unlock, and like they were doing them both at the same time. Basically, like, but Sakamoto did like we're pissed because we're pissed, and then the plot device being the issue for me. Like using a manga that's a weapon inside of another manga that literally this fucking manga is the only way to stop the villain. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
I guess we'll have to see, because usually I really like wacky. Wackier the better for me, so we'll have to see.
Yeah. It's 100% up to
Doesn't sound like it'd be an issue to me, but I'll have to check it out.
Yeah. It's weird. Probably 3 years down the road, I'll be like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever. Like, oh, I am with Black Clover now. Like, 3 years ago, I fucking hated Black Clover. It's just like right now.
Well, we will peace for now on that one.
Yep.
See you later, guys.